Welcome back to Newsmax Prime. I'm J.D. Hayworth. A mass killing at a Washington law firm plunges a former national security advisor into a Washington mystery. That's the premise for a new thriller by a man who knows Washington quite well. And could this story be based on actual events? Joining us now from Newsmax Washington, William Cohen, the former Secretary of Defense, also a Republican senator from Maine in earlier days. In the here and now, he's the author of the new book, Collision. Bill, it's so good to have you here on Newsmax Prime.
JD, it's great to be with you.
Well, now, this story I'm hearing from folks, it is a great read. The enemy, so to speak, is an asteroid. Tell us how your background in the Senate and perhaps more notably as Defense Secretary prepared you to write this thriller.
Well, JD, I've been writing about issues that threaten our planet for some time, and thinking about them and writing about them. My previous novel was called Blink of an Eye, in which I was worried about, when I was at the Defense Department, what would happen if a nuclear bomb destroyed an American city. And in Blink of an Eye, I had a city in Georgia destroyed by a nuclear weapon. So this has been of concern to me, and what also has been concerned, the increasing awareness of the threat posed by asteroids. June 30 is Asteroid Awareness Day, first time. And so we're seeing that NASA, other countries are becoming more and more aware of the threat posed by either small or medium or large-sized asteroids. If we can detect them well in advance of their ever approaching us, then we have a chance to deflect them. If we don't see them, however, then we can get a very bad surprise, like we did a couple of years ago in Russia, at least, where a very small 56-foot diameter asteroid exploded over a part of Russia and came at the Earth at a speed of about 35,000 miles an hour. And so we worry about the bigger ones, those that are called city busters. It would be like 450 feet, anywhere from home plate to center field. Those, there are about 20,000 of those floating around that we have to be concerned about, identify and track. But then there are the ones that can cause extinction.
And that's what's so scary about this, Bill. You know, I guess as you have sat down to talk to the experts, I understand it's not if, but when we encounter one of these asteroids.
Exactly. It's not. They can't say if it's going to be tomorrow or 1,000 years from now. They just don't know when. But the goal is to make sure that we have enough optics, both space-based and land-based, to make sure that we can see as many as possible. So if we can see them, we can deal with them. But if you don't see them coming, then we've got a big problem. In fact, you had the administrator of NASA testify on Capitol Hill, and that's General Bolden. He said, you know, if we have enough time, we can deal with it. If you tell me it's 3 weeks, he said it's time to pray. And so I don't want to be in the prayer business when an asteroid's coming. I want to be able to say, let's get as much knowledge as we can about what is happening in the universe to make sure that we don't end up looking like the moon.
Bill, our current commander-in-chief says global warming is a huge threat. Do the threat from asteroids outrank what the president's saying about global warming and climate change?
Well, climate change is taking place. The question is, what can we do about it? Are there things that we have done or are doing that are contributing to it? And if so, what can we do? There are many of the scientists who feel we've already lost that window of opportunity. I think we're creative enough that we can do whatever is necessary to change the course of things that we're contributing to. But again, with asteroids, it's not like the sky is falling. It may never happen during your lifetime, mine, or 1,000 years from now. But it might happen tomorrow since we didn't see it coming.
And that makes it the perfect.
The asteroid blew up over Russia, there was a second asteroid that we had tracked. It was bigger. It was 98 feet. It weighed, I forget how many tons it weighed at this particular point, but it came at us about 35,000 miles an hour. Now, so 2 asteroids the same day, passing close enough to Earth. That was about a 47,000-mile separation from us. That's not a long distance in terms of our life. So, and our life on this planet. So we have to be concerned about it, but we just don't know enough to be able to say we've got everyone identified and tracked. So that's the issue.
Bill, in the 2 minutes that remain, let's bring it back inside the surly bonds, if you will, to the here and now on Earth. Federal agencies are asking everyone to be on high alert during our Independence Day holiday because of possible terror attacks by ISIS. Do you think the current administration is taking the right course of action in the Middle East against ISIS?
I think that we're taking the right course now. I think that we have been off track on it. I think it was a mistake to have removed our troops from Iraq. I think we should have had a residual number of troops there. It may not have prevented what is taking place, but if you're not there, then you don't have a chance to help shape events in ways that are favorable to you. So I think that we're on the downside of that. I think right now the goal is to force the Shia government in Iraq to open it up to the Sunni participation. Absent that, we're never going to be able to persuade the Sunnis to associate with defending Iraq as opposed to supporting ISIS. So I think we've got to have a political solution. I think what the United States can do is to try to contain it for the time being. But we're not going to be able to do it with a small amount of troops. And I think we need more troops on the ground in order to make our air campaign much more effective than it's been to date.
Bill, final 30 seconds, Iran and that nuke deal. Your take on that?
My take on it, I don't know where we are on it. Or the Ayatollah rolling back the commitments that were made just 4 months ago. I would say if they're going to roll back whatever they agreed to before, that's just a shape of things to come, and that we're going to see more and more of that in the future. So I would say if there's any hedging on their part, we ought to approach it what Ronald Reagan said. He said trust but verify. I say don't trust. Verify first, and maybe you'll earn our trust. But
Fair
you
enough.
Can't trust
Fair
but
enough.
verify.
Former Senator, former Defense Secretary William Cohen. Bill, thank you so much for your time. New book is called Collision.